My name is Jarek. I'm 29. I work from home as a freelance designer. My apartment is small but comfortable. I chose it because it was quiet. Or at least, I thought it was. I moved in about 8 months ago. The building was old but decent. Brick walls, narrow hallways. The kind of place where you hear footsteps above you but never really know your neighbors, except for one. Arisha lived next door, Unit 304. I met her on my second day there. She knocked on my door holding a small plant, a peace lily. She smiled and said, "Welcome to the building." Her voice was soft, warm. I remember thinking she seemed kind. We weren't close, just neighbors who said hello in the hallway. She'd wave if we crossed paths at the mailbox. Sometimes she'd ask if I needed anything from the store. Normal neighbor stuff. She was maybe 32. Dark hair, always dressed neat. She worked night shifts at a hospital. I knew because I'd hear her leave late and return early in the morning. For the first few months, everything was fine. Quiet, normal. I worked during the day, made dinner at night, watched movies, slept. My life was simple, predictable. I liked it that way, but then small things started to change. It started with the calls. The first one came at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. Unknown number. I ignored it. Probably spam. The next night, same time. 11:49 p.m. Unknown again. I let it ring. Then it happened again. And again. Every night. Always between 11:45 and midnight. Always unknown. Never a voicemail. After a week, I was annoyed. After 2 weeks, I was losing sleep. I'd lie there in the dark waiting for the phone to light up. And it always did. One night I answered, just to tell whoever it was to stop. "Hello?" Silence. Not dead air. I could hear breathing, small but deliberate. "Who is this?" I said. The line clicked off. My heart was pounding. I checked the number. Blocked. No way to call back. The next morning, I saw Arisha in the hallway. She looked tired. Her scrubs had coffee stains. She smiled at me like always. "Hey, Jarek, you okay? You look exhausted." I almost told her, but I didn't want to sound paranoid, so I just nodded. "Yeah, just trouble sleeping." She tilted her head. "Me too, lately. Must be something in the air." She walked away. I stood there, watching her disappear down the stairs. The calls kept coming. Every single night. Always at midnight. Always silent. I started to dread going to bed. I'd turn my phone off, but then I'd lie there, wondering if someone was trying to reach me. Wondering who was doing this. One night, I kept my phone on. When it rang, I didn't answer. I just stared at the screen. Unknown number. I took a screenshot. The next day, I went to the building manager. I showed him the screenshot. He shrugged. "Probably a scam. Block the number." "I can't. It's always a different one." He didn't care. Told me to call the phone company. I did. They said they couldn't trace blocked calls unless I filed a police report. And the police wouldn't care unless there was a threat. So I was stuck. Then one night, I heard something else. It was 12:03 a.m. My phone had just rung. I ignored it, like usual. But then I heard a sound through the wall, a faint voice, talking, laughing. I pressed my ear to the wall. It was Arisha. She was on the phone. Her voice was muffled, but I could make out words. "Doesn't even know. So easy to mess with him." My stomach dropped. I pulled back. My hands were shaking. I told myself I was imagining it. I was tired, paranoid, but I couldn't unhear it. The next morning, I saw her again. She waved, smiled. "Morning, Jarek? Sleep better last night?" I stared at her. Her face was innocent, sweet. "Yeah," I lied. "Much better." She nodded and walked away. That's when I knew. It was her. I checked my call log again. Every midnight call matched the nights I heard her voice through the wall. Every single one. She was calling me. From a blocked number. Waking me up. Watching me suffer. But why? I started paying attention. Really paying attention. I noticed the way she'd glance at me in the hallway. The way she'd ask if I was okay. The way she'd smile a little too long. She wasn't just messing with me, she was enjoying it. One night, I decided to test it. At 11:55 p.m., I stood by the wall. Waiting. At midnight, my phone rang. I heard her voice immediately. She was talking to someone, laughing. He answered once. Should have heard how confused he sounded. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. My blood went cold. She wasn't just calling me, she was bragging about it to someone else. I wanted to confront her, knock on her door, demand answers. But I didn't, because I realized something. She wanted me to react. She wanted me to lose it, to yell, to look crazy, and I wasn't going to give her that. But they made one mistake. They thought I was broken. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at my desk, staring at the wall, thinking. Arisha thought she was clever. She thought I was just some quiet guy she could torment for fun. She thought I'd never figure it out. But she was wrong. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to threaten. I was going to be smarter. Step 1. I needed proof. The next day, I went to an electronics store. I bought a small audio recorder, the kind you can hide easily. I also bought a cheap burner phone. That night, I placed the recorder on the wall between our apartments, right where I'd heard her talking. At midnight, my phone rang. I ignored it. But I listened. The recorder picked up everything. Her voice, clear as day. Yeah, he looks so tired now. I think he's losing his mind. It's kind of sad, honestly, but also really funny. I had her. Step 2. I needed to know why. I started digging. I asked around the building, casual questions. How long has Arisha lived here? Does she get along with everyone? One neighbor, an older woman named Diane, told me something interesting. Oh, Arisha? Sweet girl. But she's had a rough time. Her ex used to live in your unit. They broke up badly. He moved out about a year ago. My blood ran cold. Arisha wasn't just messing with me. She was taking out her anger on me because I lived in her ex's apartment. I wasn't even the target. I was just there. That made it worse somehow. I was suffering because of someone else's baggage, but I wasn't going to let it slide. Step 3. The plan. I recorded her every night for a week. I had hours of audio, her laughing, her bragging, her admitting everything. Then I made copies, saved them to the cloud, backed them up. Next, I called her phone company. I pretended to be her, said I needed to access my call logs. They asked for verification. I used details I'd heard through the wall and her birthday, her mother's name. It worked. I got the logs. Every blocked call to my number came from a burner app on her phone. She'd been using it for months. Now I had everything. Audio, call logs, motive. But I wasn't done yet. Step 4, the trap. I decided to flip the script. If she wanted to mess with my head, I'd mess with hers. I started calling her from my burner phone at random times, 3 a.m., 5 a.m., noon, evening. Never spoke, just let it ring, or breathed into the phone. Within 2 days, she looked exhausted. I saw her in the hallway. Her eyes had dark circles. Her hands were shaking. You okay? I asked, keeping my voice light. She forced a smile. Yeah, just getting weird calls lately. Really? That's strange. Me too. Her face went pale. She knew. Step 5, the confrontation. I waited until I knew she'd be home, then I knocked on her door. She opened it slowly. Her face was tense. Jarek, hi, what's up? I held up my phone, played one of the recordings. Her voice filled the hallway. Doesn't even know. So easy to mess with him. Her face drained of color. I know it's you, I said calmly. I know why. And I know you've been doing this for months. She tried to speak. Her mouth opened, closed. Nothing came out. I could report you, I continued. Harassment, stalking. I have proof, hours of it. Tears filled her eyes. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. You remind me of him. And I was angry. I know it's not fair. I'm so sorry. I didn't feel bad for her, not even a little. You're going to stop, I said. Delete the app. Delete my number. And if I get one more call, one more knock, one more anything from you, I'm going to the police. Understand? She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I turned and walked away, but what came next changed me forever. The calls stopped. Immediately. The next few nights, I slept better than I had in months. No buzzing phone, no footsteps, no muffled laughter through the wall. Arisha avoided me. I'd see her in the hallway, and she'd turn the other way. If we crossed paths, she'd keep her head down. Good, but something felt off. At first, I felt satisfied, powerful even. I'd beaten her at her own game. I'd turned the tables. I'd made her feel what she made me feel. But after a week, the satisfaction faded. I started thinking about her, not in a sympathetic way, more analytical. She'd been hurting. Her ex had left her. She was stuck in that building, probably walking past my door every day, remembering him. That didn't excuse what she did. Not at all, but it explained it. And that made me feel complicated. I wasn't guilty. I didn't regret confronting her. She deserved it. But I realized something about myself. I'd enjoyed the revenge, maybe a little too much. I'd spent weeks planning, recording, plotting. I'd made her paranoid, sleepless, afraid, and part of me had liked it. That scared me. Then, 2 weeks later, something happened. I came home from a coffee shop. There was an envelope under my door, no name, just plain white paper. I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter. Jarek. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, I understand, but I needed to write this. What I did was cruel, childish, unforgivable. I was angry at someone else and I took it out on you. You didn't deserve that. I've been seeing a therapist. I'm trying to work through what happened with my ex, and part of that is owning what I did to you. I'm sorry, truly, I can't take it back, but I want you to know I'm not that person anymore, or at least I'm trying not to be. I'm moving out at the end of the month. I think it's better for both of us. I hope you can move on from this. I hope I didn't break something in you. Arisha. I read it twice. Then I folded it and put it in a drawer. I didn't write back. I didn't knock on her door. I didn't say anything. Because the truth was, I didn't know what to say. She hurt me. I hurt her back. Now we were both walking away. Was that justice or just two people damaging each other? I thought about the man I was before all this. Quiet, simple, content. I'd changed. I was more cautious now, more guarded. I didn't trust as easily, but I was also stronger. I'd stood up for myself. I'd taken control, and maybe that was worth the what. A few days later, I saw the moving truck. Arisha was leaving. I watched from my window as she carried boxes down the stairs. She never looked up, never waved. And then she was gone. The building felt quieter after that, emptier. I thought I'd feel relief, but mostly I just felt tired. Tired of being angry, tired of replaying everything in my head. I wanted to move on, to let it go. So I did. I deleted the recordings, threw away the burner phone, burned the letter. Not because I forgave her, but because I didn't want to carry it anymore. And that's when I realized this story wasn't about them anymore. It was about me. About what I'd become, what I'd learned, what I'd lost. Arisha had broken something in me, but she'd also forced me to rebuild. I started going to therapy too. Not because I was broken, but because I wanted to understand myself better. Why had I enjoyed the revenge so much? Why had I felt powerful making her afraid? My therapist said something that stuck with me. Hurt people, but healing people heal people. I wasn't sure which one I was yet. Maybe both, but I was trying. Months passed. I stopped thinking about Arisha. Stopped jumping at midnight. Stopped checking the walls. I started sleeping through the night again. The apartment felt like mine, safe, quiet. One day, I got a message on social media. From her. I saw you started your own design studio. Congratulations. You deserve it. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, "Thank you. I hope you're doing better too." And I meant it. Not because I forgave her, not because we were friends, but because I realized something. Revenge doesn't heal you. It just distracts you from the pain. Real healing comes when you stop needing revenge at all. I closed the message, closed my laptop. I walked to the window and looked out at the city. The lights, the noise, the life. For the first time in a long time, I felt okay. Not happy, not sad, just okay. And that was enough. Betrayal broke me, but it also taught me something I'll never forget. You can't control what people do to you, but you can control who you become because of it. I chose not to stay broken. I chose not to stay bitter. I chose to rebuild. And in the end, that was the best revenge of all. So, if you've ever trusted someone who hurt you, I hope this story reminds you of something. You're stronger than you think. You're more resilient than they believed. And you have the power to take back control. Not through anger, not through revenge, but through choosing yourself, choosing peace, choosing to move forward. It's not easy, it takes time, but it's worth it. If you want to hear more real stories like this, stay with me. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me about a time you took back control in your life. I read every single one, and maybe your story will inspire someone else because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to survive our own battles. And sometimes knowing you're not alone makes all the difference. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself. And remember, you're not broken, you're just still being built.